A single day, from sunset to sunrise, determined the fate of eternity. What if every agonizing moment Jesus endured was predetermined, written centuries before his birth? By the end, you'll see a cosmic blueprint so precise, it shatters doubt and confirms his divine identity. In the shadow of Jerusalem, as the Passover meal concluded, Jesus made a chilling announcement: one of his own disciples would betray him. This wasn't a sudden, unforeseen act of malice, it was a scene long rehearsed in the annals of time. The question isn't just who but why this betrayal was so pivotal. It seems unfathomable that such a vile act could be part of a divine plan. But wait, this wasn't just any betrayal. The prophet David, 1,000 years before, had penned Psalm 41, declaring, "Even my close friend, someone I trusted, one who shared my bread, has turned against me." This specific, intimate treachery, from one sharing a meal, was etched into prophecy. This unthinkable act was just the first domino. But how many more ancient predictions were already set in motion within those next few hours? Moments later, in the Garden of Gethsemane, the prophecy accelerated. Judas arrived with a mob, identifying Jesus with a kiss. The disciples, once bold, fled into the night, abandoning their master. "Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered," Zechariah had written centuries earlier. Zechariah chapter 13 verse 7. Their panicked flight wasn't random, it was another precise fulfillment. And yet, even the seemingly arbitrary sum paid for his life was meticulously foretold. Matthew records Judas receiving 30 pieces of silver for his treachery. But this wasn't just a transactional payment. The prophet Zechariah, writing around 500 BC, prophesied, "And I said to them, if it seems good to you, give me my wages, but if not, keep them. And they weighed out as my wages 30 pieces of silver." Zechariah chapter 11 verse 12. This, price of a slave, was only one part of the escalating injustice. How could ancient texts predict the very sound of his silence? Dragged before the high priest and then Pilate, Jesus faced a barrage of false accusations. Witnesses fabricated testimonies, yet Jesus remained mostly silent. He endured mockery, spitting, and brutal beatings. "I offered my back to those who beat me, my cheeks to those who pulled out my beard. I did not hide my face from scorn and spitting," Isaiah chapter 50 verse 6 declared over 700 years prior. But consider this: his profound silence, a shocking defiance to his accusers, was not a sign of weakness. It was a direct fulfillment. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. Isaiah chapter 53 verse 7. Yet, the ultimate rejection of his own people, shouting for his crucifixion, also finds its chilling echo in ancient scripture. How deep did this hatred run? Pilate, finding no fault in him, sought to release Jesus, but the crowd's cry was unrelenting: "Crucify him." A Jewish method of execution would typically be stoning, yet Jesus was condemned to the Roman cross. This seemingly contradictory turn of events was crucial for prophecy. But the manner of his death itself, crucifixion, a horrific Roman invention, seemed impossible to reconcile with Hebrew prophecies. Yet, it was precisely the instrument that fulfilled ancient texts regarding his piercing. Psalm chapter 22 verse 16, written a millennium before, stated, "They pierce my hands and my feet." And Zechariah chapter 12 verse 10 spoke of a day when people would "look on me, the one they have pierced." His agony on the road to Golgotha was unparalleled, but even the small, seemingly random details of his final moments were already scripted. What mundane objects held a prophetic destiny? Nailed to the cross, Jesus endured unimaginable suffering. Soldiers gambled for his clothes, fulfilling Psalm chapter 22 verse 18, they divide my garments among them and cast lots for my clothing. He was offered sour wine to drink, echoing Psalm chapter 69 verse 21, they put gall in my food and gave me vinegar for my thirst. And then, the most profound agony, my God, why have you forsaken me? But perhaps the most chilling detail. These very words Jesus cried out from the cross were not a spontaneous lament, but a direct quotation from a 1,000-year-old prophecy, the opening line of Psalm 22. Even in his final breath, he was living out ancient scripture. His death fulfilled so much, yet the prophecy demanded one final, unexpected detail, a burial that defied his humble status. How could a condemned man be laid in a rich man's tomb? After his death, a wealthy man named Joseph of Arimathea bravely requested Jesus' body and laid it in his own new tomb. This was no ordinary burial for a condemned criminal. And astonishingly, a prophecy from Isaiah, written 7 centuries prior, foretold this exact, improbable circumstance. He was assigned a grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Isaiah chapter 53 verse 9. In a span of less than 24 hours, Jesus fulfilled dozens of ancient prophecies, from his betrayal, to the price paid, his silence, his piercing, his last words, and his final resting place. This isn't coincidence, it's the undeniable signature of divine orchestrations, revealing a plan far older than time itself. The precise fulfillment of these prophecies demonstrates God's sovereignty over every detail, confirming Jesus as the promised Messiah. If this revelation of God's perfect plan moves you, subscribe to uncover more hidden truths from Scripture.